Some of y'all have seen the responses of white women who are acting surprised about the behavior and the reaction of white men to the death of Renee Good.
Hey my loves, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking. When you saw this video, so this I came across this on my FYP of white women, okay, getting angry on their husbands, and reason being that they actually are not doing anything or protesting or speaking out on the passing of Renee Good in the hand of ICE. And you guys, a lot of them are deciding to leave their spouses. A lot of them are super angry and asking questions. And I love how this brother put it, say, your husband might just be ICE. And that is one hard truth that a lot of people might not want to talk about. Well, guys, I'm going to let the rest of the videos roll. Then I'll come back with more commentary. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. Please do well to like and subscribe. Let's go watch.
Talking about something, I'm leaving my husband. I can't believe they don't care about this. Ma'am, you knew this. You knew this. Stop. Nobody's telling you to lie. Ma'am, your husband's probably ICE. If not ICE, they definitely support him. And now they feel like they're in danger. Ma'am, you've been in danger. You've been in danger. Your husband probably been the same person laughing when black folks lost their lives or when natives was getting chased down by ICE. You just didn't care because you weren't the center of this. Now that you're the center, you feel like the prey instead of the predator towards other minority groups. But white women separating themselves from their male counterparts the moment that shit gets real is not a new concept. For example, the feminist movement, the moment that white women needed a leg up in America, they recruited black women with promises of working together so they can get equal and fair benefits, right? The moment that white women were able to stand up, they stood right on top of black women. Ever since black people gained civil rights in the 1960s, white women have actively voted side by side with their male counterparts against black and brown people. Prior to that, always remember, the most horrific Black Wall Street, the most horrific things that happened on American soil, especially the black and brown people, were instigated, fabricated, and manufactured by white women. And instead of having an actual come to Jesus moment, they will gaslight you and tell you that they knew nothing about this. People, learn your history.
There is 100% like a mental health crisis in this country, because I just watched another video where a woman was saying like liberal women are divorcing their husbands because they're not speaking up over Renee Good. You know, I just can't imagine. I am not like that. I might be a little feisty, like I'm like sugar and sweet and all sugar, cinnamon, all things nice, and also feisty and all of those things, but that's just another layer of intensity that I feel like is just would be difficult to deal with. Well, good thing I'm not married.
So ironic to see white women on the internet talking about how the white men are not sticking up for their families and they're not protecting their families because they saw how that clear lady was unalived by that ICE officer child. My whole thing is like, you all literally would have picnics called picnic after you all's church services. You all would go and hang black people. And this was happening in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and even in the 60s. And there was a few black men that was hung, unfortunately, in 2025. So we're not going to sit up here and act like white women don't have a hand in all of the atrocities that have been caused and perpetuated by white men. Y'all, after they come with the white hoods, they come home, y'all make them dinner. Y'all freak them down. Y'all bear their children. Y'all raise them. They come from your womb. So why are you so surprised? Now it only matters because you feel like you're being directly affected. This has been happening, but y'all never gave a damn because you felt like it had nothing to do with you. The irony of it all. So I gotta keep saying, like, these clear women, they get to try to hide under the guise of the patriarchy. They get to hide under the guise of the patriarchy and make it seem like, oh, but we're women. Oh, but it's just the Wh1te man. Oh, but it's not us. And it's like, no, y'all are still, not all, but some of y'all are still very much so racist. So, like I was saying, a lot of white women are blatantly racist. The first serial unaliver was a white woman. Like, y'all ever seen American Horror Story? It was one of the seasons with the Coven. I can't remember, but it was a white woman that was literally torturing and unaliving black people, specifically women and children, in the basement of her house. I think her name was Marie Laveau. I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like this was happening in New Orleans. These women literally have raised school powers. Like, your first godlike entity that you know when you come into this physical plane is your mom. So I don't understand how, I don't know what type of magic, what type of glamour magic, to whereas they keep getting absolved and they keep getting grace and no one is ever like pointing the finger at them or looking at them for their role and what they've played and how things are. But no, y'all is just as guilty, if not more, because women have a lot of power. Oftentimes, women are the puppeteers. And I hate to blame women for the actions of men, so I'm not going to sit up here and do that. However, they raise white men. They're the enablers. They coddle them. They give birth to them. So, and they also, I got to keep bringing this up at every chance I get. When you see the pictures of Ruby Bridges and other children, teenagers integrating into white schools in the 50s and 60s, there were predominantly white women out there screaming obscenities at little kids. So for them now, fast forward, like calling them the N-word, doing all types of, we could really go into it, all right? But fast forward now to 2026, everybody's like making it seem like, oh, look at what's going on. This is like Nazi Germany. Like, bitch, no, this is like the United States of America a few decades ago. What the fuck are we talking about? Your meemaws and your peepaws was out in the streets running black people up out of the neighborhoods. The police been fucking brutally attacking us and profiling us. And now we're not the main target and everybody's crying saying, woe is me. And I'm just looking around like, I don't know. But the white women in the comments was popping and saying that they was getting divorces and all types of shit was going on. So we gonna see how this play out. Spread love is the wicked way.
The only reason white people are calling ICE agents Nazis is because they don't want them in close proximity to their history. ICE agents are actually slave catchers, okay? And if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, baby, Nazis learned their practices from the KKK and white America and how they were treating black people at that time. So why don't you call them what they really are, you white abolitionists? They're not Nazis. They're slave catchers. They're white America. They're the KKK. They're white supremacy. Because if you don't learn your history and accept your history, history will be repeated, or it will try.
I just watched the CNN interview where Renee Good's Trump-loving ex-father-in-law says that he blames no one, but he loves Trump for her death. And I just want to remind you that people who are neutral in the face of injustice are evil. They're not godlike. They're not Christian, though they'll definitely put out that facade to confuse you. They are also the people who will use the system as a facade. That whole interview reminded me of this relationship that I was in my 20s. It was pretty serious at the time. We'd been together for around 3 years. And at that like 3-year period, his mom lost it. He started to spread these crazy rumors about me. She would email me, text me, call me in the middle of the night. Even got to the point to where like my parents, who would pretty much never do this, were like, do we need to take out a restraining order? And we ended up breaking up because of it. Like I broke up with him because I was like, this is crazy. I'm not tying myself to this life. Meanwhile, the entire time, his sister was married to a man who was a gambler. He most likely cheated on her. I don't know that for certain though. And then they ended up getting a divorce years later because of domestic abuse. And his mom loved that man because he married her daughter and gave that like semblance of safety and security without ever actually having to provide it. All I'm trying to say is that at some point we have to get away from this like legend of patriarchal protection because it's not real. And men like Renee Good's ex-father-in-law prove it.
We have an update in the Renee Good case. A statement has come out on the behalf of the ICE officer who murdered her, stating that he suffered internal bleeding from the incident and that he's in a safe location recovering from his injuries. This is the same man that we saw on camera circle her vehicle, come to the front of it, shoot her there, shoot her through her driver's window, and walk away like nothing was wrong. Not rush to render aid, not do anything strenuous, not get hit by that car because the car didn't touch him. Literally for them to say that he is suffering internal bleeding. These people are internally full of shit. And that's about it. That's about it. And so now they're also saying in response to all the protests that are happening there on the ground, because 3,000 ICE agents are there, the Pentagon has told 1,500 active duty military members to be on standby, to be deployed to Minneapolis to stop the protests from happening. On behalf of this administration, of course, because Trump would like to incite the Insurrection Act, and he has been wanting to since he got in office, it seems, and it makes no sense. We have a right to protest. We have a right to a lot of things that are going out of the window now on paper, but people are largely unaware, and even the people that do know, what can we do, you know, because they're doing what they want. But I wanted to provide that update because I feel like much like if this case is being handled this way, Keith Porter's case is likely going to be handled in the same way. I have a little hope that because it happened in California, you know, we're pretty sometimes on point with politics and like doing the right things, but who knows? At this point, who knows? Everything is up in the air. So more to come as America continues to burn from the inside out. Stay informed.
Men asked Grok to undress Renee Good's dead, murdered body. What is wrong? The audacity for anyone to be slightly confused as to why there's a male loneliness epidemic. Why women are choosing to stay single. Why women aren't having babies with men. Why women in general don't feel safe. I have no
Frankly
words.
speaking, I don't have any words. I actually do not have words, because a lot of time these people still believe that they are better off. Many of them voted for this. A lot of them, you all know that white men, white women, Latinos, and some other people of color voted for this. And now that eyes have come knocking, they are expecting another thing to happen, like the same people who voted for this to come and start showing you sympathy. Your husbands have always been like this. It's just that some of you actually do not know that this is exactly who they are. Well, let's take a look at the comment section, because I told you guys I have no words. So this one said, if you believe this, white women didn't know their husbands, you are ST. This one say, Dave Chappelle broke this shit down years ago. Come on, white lady, you know what it is. You was in on it too. You just doing, don't like your court, okay? They will continue to vote for the same man who do not care about them or anyone else. Let me tell you, white women are not divorcing their white husband. It's all talk, and as black people, let mind our own business, okay? Don't be judged people, leave them where they be, okay? White men has never really respected, protected their women. Same for their children, okay? The one lady was acting like MAGA folks are being held captive and are incapable of finding out facts like the rest of us. They work so hard to shift responsibility even for their own cognitive labor on top, onto others. So exhausting, okay? Because they are expecting black folks to come and do something, right? Anyway, this one say they watch TV just like everyone else. Do they know exactly what they their husbands do? Okay, because that other guy said your husband might literally be eyes, so you should not be complaining, okay? And to think that some of them actually expect something different from the same men who voted for this, it's something that is very funny. And to think that also a lot of them didn't know that this is exactly who their husbands have been for years. It's not like they are going to change anytime soon. They have always been like this. It's just that some of you just overlook and like, okay, it doesn't concern me. But now that you guys are seeing that they don't care about what happened to her, people like you can also be a victim of some of these ICE raids. Some of you are now like waking up to reality, okay? And this one say they need just say that they want a divorce. Don't use this woman passing for an excuse. The same way they are acting now is the same way your husbands was acting before. Child, please, okay? This one said they used to be black children to passing, okay? And they made a lot where they couldn't go to jail for it. They used to pass black children all the time. I don't have no feelings for you, so I frankly don't care what you do with your husband, because you are two of a kind, okay? Another person said my sister at had a point, but I'm only correct her because it's based on real people. The woman she's talking about is not actually divorcing her husband. A lot of them are just chasing clout, okay? And that's what a lot of people actually feel, that most of these things could just be them chasing clout other than divorcing their husband. While some people say truly they are literally divorcing their husband because they are angry that their husbands are carefree about what is currently happening, especially with the passing of Renee Good. Anyway, guys, let me know what's your own take in the comments. I really love to read from you guys. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos, and I look forward to seeing all of my next. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you all next time. Bye, guys.